Yo, what's good everyone? Your boy Deke back again with another vid. News just dropped about 30-45 minutes ago. Tyson Alualu is rejoining the Pittsburgh Steelers. He reconsidered going down to Jacksonville and signing with the Jacksonville Jaguars, the team that drafted him way back in 2010. Now, I'm going to say that's a pretty damn good decision. Maybe he considered that, hey, Jacksonville's picking #1 in this year's draft, which means they had the worst record in the NFL last season. Or also that they've just been a dumpster fire franchise. So if you had to pick between the Steelers and the Jaguars, I mean, come on, I'm not even being biased here. So the obvious question is, what made Tyson Alualu change his mind? This is a pretty interesting story. Tyson Alualu was going to sign with the Jaguars but couldn't make the trip after testing positive with COVID. Built his dream home in Pittsburgh, has kids in school, 10 days to think, decided to stay. So he made the agreement. Remember, there was like that 2 or 3 day waiting period where you could agree to a contract, but then you officially sign a couple days later. He agreed to the contract, couldn't make the trip to sign the contract because he tested positive for COVID and just had all this time to think. We all know this when we're faced with big decisions. When you have a clear mind, days to rest, sleep, think on it, we typically come up with the best conclusion. No different here with Tyson Alualu. But some people aren't really attuned to his reasoning in the Twitter comments. Who builds a dream home in Pittsburgh? Well, a person that wants a big house and a person that loves living in Pittsburgh. That's who would do such a thing. And Pittsburgh is a place of class. As you can see here, it was voted the most livable city in the continental United States. So my friend, people that care about greatness and associating with the best want to live in Pittsburgh. So right now, we don't know the exact contract details, but I think it's safe to assume, based off it being a 2-year deal, the numbers will be similar to the initial agreement that Tyson had with the Jacksonville Jaguars. If that's the case, based off this tweet with Steelers Depot, it's only going to count $1.52 million against our cap space. When you consider that potential contract, how good Tyson Alualu played for us these past couple seasons, and the fact that the Steelers really haven't made any other moves since releasing Steven Nelson, this deal is a no-brainer in my opinion. Next, let's do what any logical fan does, and we look up stats that backs up the case that this is a good move. First, we have PFF with an 89.6 grade for Tyson Alualu's 2020 season. Anyone with eyes and anyone that was watching the Steelers could probably safely say that his 2020 season was probably the best of his NFL career. Now, skeptics may point to this 89.6 and just PFF in general, which I understand. But it says that Tyson Alualu is good at football, so I agree with it. And then here's the second stat. This one comes from PFF as well. PFF Jacksonville Jaguars. Cue the crying Jordan meme. He actually had a low-key 2019 as well. 80.1. 2020, obviously 86.6. Wait, 86.6? 89.6.
What?
I'm just going to assume, since this is PFF Jacksonville Jaguars, they're associated with the Jaguars, that they just got this wrong, that they're incompetent. Whereas the PFF official site, they clearly got this one right. Next, let's look at the game logs, because one of the knocks against Tyson could be that he isn't a starter for the Steelers and he doesn't play the majority of the snaps. But if we look at the percentages here, 47, 49, 50, 83, 40, 50, 40, 80, he actually does play a decent amount of snaps, almost half. And then when he is in, based off anyone that has saw him play and these metrics, he has definitely made the most of it. So my final thoughts on this deal, only positive vibes, only good vibes. When Tyson Alualu initially signed with the Jaguars for 2 years, $6 million, I was like, man, the Steelers could definitely figure out a way to make this happen. So I was a little disappointed, although I also said on one of my videos, Steelers got a good track record. I trust the Steelers, so we'd be fine going forward either way. But now that Tyson Alualu's back, and it's on a very similar deal, hopefully, it just makes sense. Because the more I thought about it, defensive tackle did become a little bit of a need. Now, could a Bug stepped up? I think so. Wormley, I'm not the biggest believer in. Carlos Davis, maybe. But now we have Tyson Alualu back, who's for sure going to give us 30%, 40% snaps at a very high level. The only downside to this deal has nothing to do with Tyson, has more to do with the Steelers cap space, is that we signed Chris Wormley, what, a week ago? We signed him on a 2-year deal. I think it's going to count about 1.6, almost $2 million against our cap space. I'd rather have the cap space knowing that we have Tyson Alualu back at this point. It's not the end of the world, considering we thought that Tyson was for sure gone, so it's like, what can you do about that? I just wish we had that extra cap space to maybe sign a tight end, maybe sign Le'Veon Bell. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Outside of that, stay chillin'. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Peace.